Hello heroes and villains, welcome to Multiverse. Just a reminder, this is on the test server. The DLC should be added on the live server in just a few days. So we have the new DLC that will come out soon. So today we are going to take a look at Dakota City. Very often people do not know how to gain access to the map. You can get access through the warp menu, or if somehow it's no longer the warp menu, you can see our friend Tempus Reginot. Behind Tempus Reginot we have this huge machine that gives us access to a whole bunch of open worlds. So you can see Dakota City. But if you're looking for any other open worlds, you can look through the various tiers. Like you can see here, Infernal Conduct is now here. But let us go to Dakota City. So basically the new DLC is Shock to the System. Basically the DLC is inspired by the Milestone universe. It's not exactly it, you'll see why in just a minute. Basically, there's our friend Cyborg over here. Cyborg had nothing to do with a Milestone. So if you ever saw the show Static Shock, this is where Static came from. Whenever they come up with a new DLC, usually the devs can only come up with a handful of new characters. So they have to reuse some older characters. So here you can see they're reusing Steel, who technically has nothing to do with the Milestone universe either. The same with Grail over here. I guess they just went with whatever diverse characters they had to fill in the gap. So here you can see Dr. Sarah Charles, who was already in the game, but they gave her a new model. And here's our friend the Rocket. One of the styles we will get with this DLC will be the Rocket style. So the style you see right here, that is one of the two styles we will get with this DLC. We'll take a look at the vendor in just a minute. And sadly, here comes the bad news. One character that was always highly requested was Icon. And somehow they decided not to give us Icon, so they gave us here an Icon hologram. And for the styles also, we're getting a style from Rocket, inspired by Rocket, and a style inspired by Eben. Now let's take a look at the vendors. So if we go just over here, so you can see there's two vendors. The reasons for that is that there's one vendor that's for most of the DLC, but they brought back the bounty system that we had in the Wonderverse DLC or in the Legion of Superhero DLC. Let's take a look at the Blue Beetle vendor first.
The mighty Blue Beetle is a little behind on his home, so hoping you're in a hurry too.
So the style we get is the Bright Booster Gear. It is the style inspired by Rocket. Sadly I won't be able to show you the style just yet. Obviously once I manage to get the style, I'll try to make a video about it. And the other style will be the Shadowbender Gear. It is inspired by Eben. We can't really have a good look at what the style looks like here. Again, once I manage to get the style, I'll try to make a video about it. Here we have a pretty funky back piece. For the Shadowbender style, there's going to be a regular version of the style and an elite version of the style. And to get the elite version, you will have to play elite missions in the Shock to the System DLC. And obviously, we are going to get some new augments and also some new plans to craft some generator mods. And if we take a look at the other vendor, Officer Stone, here we also have the Bright Booster Gear. I'm not sure why. So here we have the enhanced Shadowbender face piece. It's going to be an elite face mask, and you can see you will require 2 currencies in order to purchase it. So you will need the regular currency you get from the DLC and the currency you get from the bounties. So there's also going to be a neck piece, some rings. It had been a while since we had some elite rings. So here you have the various components you'll need to break through with your augments. For some reason, you also have the plans to craft the generator mods. And here they've added a few things, so you will be able to purchase some Metaclinic ID. You will be able to purchase some source marks if you need them. And more importantly, you will be able to purchase some stabilizers. Yes, you will be limited in how many you can purchase. So for example, the Metaclinic, you can only purchase 1 per week. The same for the source marks, and the same for the stabilizer. So if you have a whole bunch of currencies and you don't know what to do with it, you'll have somewhere where you can spend it. They've tweaked the on-duty menu also a little bit. So here you can see the missions from Shock to the System. So there will be 1 duo, there will be 1 alert, and there will be 1 raid. I'll make a video about those on the live server. Oh, you can see one of the bounties retreated and was defeated. People were wondering how big the map for Dakota City would be. This is how big it is. Let's start going towards the coast. I'll fly around the map a bit just to show you how big the map is. I will let you decide if you think it's a big map or not. You decide. So basically on this side we have the coast, pretty typical. I've seen some people were not too happy, I guess. They thought it didn't look different enough from Metropolis. I thought it was a bit different. Obviously, yeah, they are reusing some assets from Metropolis or even from Gotham. And basically, they probably have a bank of a whole bunch of buildings that they can use and reuse, even if they make a new city. At least the one thing we don't have is the bottled building. So we pretty much reached the end of the map. So let's go towards the other side. At some point there was a weird glitch that made the building very funky in the distance, but they fixed that pretty quick. So obviously it's not a map as big as Gotham or Metropolis. If you were expecting such a map, I would say lower your expectations. I don't think we'll ever see a map that big again, but I could be wrong. I'm hoping against hope to be wrong, but I don't think I am. So this is pretty much where it ends. So the map is relatively big, but obviously nowhere near as big as Metropolis or Gotham. It's sad, but what can you do? Sadly, way back when we were playing DC Universe Online, we were dreaming that someday we would get like a coast city as big as, let's say, Metropolis, and then we would get the Thanagar, that we would get Star City. It didn't work like that, sadly. We foolishly thought that, I don't know, every year, every 2 years, they would give us such a big city. And I remember when they first announced that we were getting Central City, people were very excited about that. Again, they were expecting a city as big as Gotham or Metropolis. It's not quite what we got. So let's see if we can go to one of the bounties. The last time I was here, we didn't seem to have the bounties just yet. Although it could be also that I just don't know where they are. But I'm trying to do this the hard way. Let's try to use the teleporter. So there's a few places where we can go to. So I assume the Lincoln High, the Burger Food, the Big Bang and Memorial Park. These are where the bounties are. So let's start with Lincoln High School. Oh, Jinx is approaching, it would seem. Obviously, by myself, I'll be no match for that bounty, but let's see if we can at least have a look. Oh, I didn't notice that. That's a nice football stadium. So there are some new things that we haven't seen before, but obviously there's some assets that are reused. There was no way they were going to make a new city from scratch. Obviously, they were going to reuse at least some assets. So here we have to defeat the Jinx. Obviously, we're no match versus Jinx by ourselves, but let's give her a try. What else are we going to do anyway? Oh, nose! That was close. Ah. Oh well. We have a friend that came by, but too late. Too late. So obviously Jinx has nothing to do with the Milestone universe, but again, there's only so many new assets they can create. They did something similar with the Legion of Superheroes. When we had the Legion of Superhero DLC, we had a handful of new Legion characters that were created. But then the devs used a whole bunch of Teen Titans character again to fill in the gap. So here we have a whole bunch of forces from Apocalypse. Nope, I forgot to summon my little robot drone. So we have some forces from Apocalypse that we have to fight. We have some sort of water golems. Let us summon Static, because why not? And if you did not know, we do have a new ally, a new Static ally. We barely saw him. I'll try to show him a bit more at the end of the video. And we also have some sort of shadow golems or shadow creatures. There's also a bigger one. Let's try to find one of the big ones. Although in this case, unlike the golem in Chaos Gotham, you should be able to take it down by yourself. In this case, he seems to be more focused on the truck. I'm trying to give it the coup de grace. Almost there, still on target. So if you were hoping to get only completely new assets, sadly that was too much to expect. Some level of reused asset was to be expected. So for the people who were asking for a milestone universe to be used, you got what you were asking for, but you may not have gotten exactly what you wanted. Let us summon the static ally, because why not? So you can see it's literally the static NPC.
B-Man, yeah, that's me.
Ah, and he's gone. So again, I'm not sure why they did not give us an icon. It's probably the character that was the most requested after static. Although at some point we should get some new rewards on the vendors. So hopefully we will get some icon style in those new rewards. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see for that. Just a reminder, this is on the test server. The DLC should be added on the live server in just a few days. When it does get added to the live server, I'll make a video or two about it. Although at this point, we do know when we'll get the new DLC. It has been confirmed by cdbr.com. I'll put a link to the article in the description down below. So we now know that the DLC will be officially released on April 13th, 2023. So we just have a few days to wait until we get the new DLC on the live server. Again guys, once the DLC gets added to the live server, I'll make a video or two about it.